After arriving at the Golden Moon Ministry to find Ludwig, one of her royal vassals from the alternate timeline, Princess Mia discovered he was about to be sent to the countryside. Princess Mia plagiarized Ludwig's words without any shame and recruited the young official to her cause. With one small victory on her side and on her future, Mia discovers that her hot date with Guillotine Kun is fated to happen at the end of the diary. Mia steels herself to go to the slums in hopes to push the balance towards her favor.
For Ludwig, the whole encounter was shocking. Born as the second son of a merchant, he was a smart child from an early age. His eldest brother took over the store and the family business, so he directed his aspirations into becoming a government official. But soon after he began his studies, he realized how rotten the Tearmoon Empire was. There were various reasons, but most of them came from the noble houses, of which the emperor's own family was the most powerful. That's why he has disdain for nobles and royalty, those of so-called high birth. But one day, a girl suddenly appeared in front of him. She was Mia Luna Tearmoon, the first princess of the empire, a girl who was near the heights of the noble people. She came to him while shaking her beautiful platinum-colored hair that seemed to melt the moonlight.
Help me rebuild this empire.
The sparkle of intelligence she showed was just like the goddess of the moon. It was so dazzling. Ludwig, stabbed by that moonlight, still can't stop his heart from pounding quickly whenever he recalled that meeting. Since that day, he has been working hard to live up to the trust that Mia gave to him. Any opposition from his superiors, he would quash it by using the name of the princess. He assumes that his actions had reached Mia's ears, but since she had said nothing, it means that he is probably acting the way that she wants him to. Perhaps she thinks Ludwig will move voluntarily after she had conveyed her thoughts to him about the empire. Her stance was clear. She pointed the way and he plotted the course. It was a textbook good leadership. Once the vision was given, it was up to the frontline experts to worry about the details on how to achieve it. Though it may seem simple, leaders who achieved results were very few. Most poor judgments have led to the downfall of countless kingdoms throughout the ages. And here was a girl who was only 12 years old. She already made the correct decisions. Ludwig shivered just thinking about it. Could she be the great leader that is bestowed upon the empire by the heavens? Ludwig thought with full reverence. Of course, such a thing is nothing but a delusion. Your Highness, welcome. Ludwig paused his work and stood up in respect. Mia raised her hand to stop him.
Thank you for your hard work, Ludwig. Know that it is appreciated.
No, it is all thanks to you, Your Highness. Because of you, my work has been easier. Mia nods with a smile to Ludwig, who bows his head. Ludwig was relieved. He took Mia's actions as a sign that his actions were not misguided. After all, he is in the presence of someone whose wisdom was beyond himself.
By the way, I came here because I need your advice on a particular matter.
My advice? Ludwig thinks with his arms folded. Looking at Her Highness, I don't think she's dissatisfied with my work, but maybe there's something I'm not aware of. After all, Ludwig figured, he is talking to a person whose wisdom is like that of a moon goddess. Ludwig's evaluation of Mia is on a level that no longer touches the earth. It has flown up and away with no signs of landing anytime soon, which is truly unfortunate.
That's right. Though we can have the conversation here, I'd prefer if you can escort me somewhere else.
Mia said with a mysterious smile. Where might that be?
The Newman district.
Ludwig was totally taken by surprise by Mia's answer. The slums? You want to go to the slums? Newman District, the slums of Lunateer, was located close to the ramparts. It was a place that ordinary people, never mind nobles and royals, wouldn't even dare to step into. Ludwig himself has never been to that place and never wished to go there. Even if the heavens and the earth are turned upside down, it is not the place where the first princess of the empire goes.
Mia-sama, no, that's going too far.
It was Anne, the personal maid, who voiced her distress at Mia's plan. She thought that Mia's plan was just to visit Ludwig. For a young maiden like herself, Newman District was the place that she wanted to avoid at all costs. It's a place where parents say, don't approach because it's dangerous, and she's also telling her sisters and brothers. But in opposition to the two, Mia just shook her head and said,
it's necessary. I want Ludwig to see it directly and tell me what he thinks about it.
there was a resolve in her tone that told them that the discussion was over. At the behest of Mia, Ludwig hurriedly arranged for soldiers to escort him. Since it was sudden, only 4 people were gathered, but all of them were highly skilled soldiers. This wouldn't have been enough on the battlefield, but since they are technically still inside the Imperial City, there should be no problem. I would have preferred to have at least 10 more soldiers, but given the rushed circumstances, it can't be helped. After all, it is the daughter of the Emperor who is going out into the city. They can never be too careful. By the way, Your Highness, does His Majesty know about your plans today?
You mean father? It's okay, I'll tell him later.
Ludwig was a little worried about Mia, just casually waved off the issue. They did not need any sign to know that they were already in the Tearmoon district. With just one step, the atmosphere was clearly different from the other districts.
It smells terrible.
One of the soldiers remarked while holding his nose. The whole city seemed to be dominated by the smell of rottenness, the smell of sweat, and just an overall filthy smell. Not to mention the soldiers, Anne and Ludwig were grimacing at the pungency that they have never smelled in the castle and other high-class residential areas. But
is that so? I don't find it bothersome.
Mia was calm. For Mia, who had been imprisoned in the dungeon for 2 years, this place was actually better because it is in the open, so there is wind and fresh air.
It must be difficult for people here even today. Spend 3 days without cleaning your body and anyone will start smelling. It's not much different from travelers who come from afar.
After declaring so easily,
well, let us proceed then.
Mia started walking. The soldiers around her could only gape at such a bold princess. Dirty roads, dim back alleys, crumbling houses. From those shadows, suspicious looks were wary of the out-of-place party. Regardless of such things, Mia continued walking, totally unconcerned.
Where are we headed, Your Highness?
The lead soldier asked.
That's right. I haven't decided in particular. Huh? What's that?
Mia suddenly ran off and approached a child curled up at the side of the road. It was a boy dressed in tattered cloth that can hardly even be called clothes. He seems to be younger than Mia, about 5 or 6 years old. Mia gently touched his bony shoulders.
Wait, Your Highness! Hello? Are you okay?
The boy raised his face slowly. He did not look surprised when he saw Mia. His eyes are cloudy and devoid of any spark of childhood.
Are you feeling sick?
The dry lips moved slightly. No voice came out from them. Instead, the answer came from Ludwig behind them. It looks like he is starving, not sick. It's a common occurrence here.
I see. Hunger is no small suffering.
Mia instructed Anne to give some of her sweets to the boy. Then Mia looked back at Ludwig.
Ludwig, I have something to ask.
What is it, Your Highness?
If I want to prevent a plague from happening here in the future, what should I do?
Plague? That is... Mia's words shocked Ludwig. It was like a hit in the head, as he hadn't even thought about that possibility. He knew that the Empire's finances would definitely go bankrupt in a few years, so he thought that he had to do something about it by reducing spending and increasing tax revenues. And to be honest, he was quite proud of what he has done so far. However, once a plague occurs, all his efforts would become meaningless. So the little princess in front of him pointed out this very danger. To prevent a plague, huh?
Mia-sama, this child, I think it's better to let him rest somewhere. There seems to be a church nearby. Why don't we go there?
Anne's words interrupted Ludwig's thoughts.
We should. I had hoped to see various things here, so this works out perfectly.
Ludwig gazed at Mia's smiling face, feeling like he had finally understood why she brought him here. Through the narrow and winding back alleys, they arrived at their destination, a small church that was leaning to one side. It had a large garden from where energetic voices of children could be heard. After leaving the child to his sister, Ludwig looked back at the church. Is this the only place where sick people can be treated? The church was simple, and even with the attached orphanage, it could only house very few people. It was impossible for them to provide food and care to all the needy in the area. I didn't believe it until I saw it. Her Highness is right. There's definitely a large chance for a plague to break out from here. While Ludwig was thinking, Mia was building rapport with the priest in charge of the church. She was not really a religious person, but she calculated that if she made connections with the church, which is an organization that is spread throughout the different kingdoms, then they might help her escape in an event of an emergency. No matter the time or the place, Mia always operated under the motto of me first.
Father, thank you for accepting the sick child into your care. No need for thanks. We do what we can as servants of God. It is us that we're humble humble that Her Royal Highness came to visit a place like ours. It's nothing, because like the other districts, this place is part of my beloved country. By the way, Father, would you happen to have friends abroad?
Mia wasted no time in getting to the point. Your Highness, it was Ludwig who called out.
Oh, Ludwig. Is it time to go already?
No, I just want to say that I finally understand your intentions now. Hearing that, Mia nodded satisfactorily.
Yes, so how can we prevent a plague here in the New Moon District?
There are two ways to prevent a plague. Strengthen the inhabitants by giving them food, and improve the medical institutions. While talking, Ludwig realizes the difficulty of what he was proposing. The job he's been doing lately is reducing spending. In order to restore the Empire's finances, he's pushing for an increase in the Empire's income and to reduce its spending. And now here he was suggesting the distribution of food and the building of a hospital. Both ideas cost enormous money. Ludwig had no idea how much money this project would need, nor where to get it in the first place. Even with the princess backing, it might still be impossible. After all, she was still a child. But
that means we need money. I see.
Mia nodded a little, folded her arms as if she was thinking about something.
Then, that's right. Is it enough if I sell this?
She slowly removed the hairpin that was on her hair. Huh? The big red jewel shone on it. It was a gift from a famous merchant just days before.
Mia-sama, isn't that your favorite?
Anne shouted in alarm, but Mia just shook her head a little.
It doesn't matter. No matter how important it is, even if I treasure it as much as I can, it will still disappear one day. It could go missing or break. Knowing this, the most we can do is to use it well and to give it meaning.
Your Highness, the normally calm Ludwig was very much impressed. He looked at Mia as if she was literally a saint. Of course, it's an illusion. Mia is not a saint or anything, so there's a good reason she said, sell it. And the reason was...
It's better to sell it quickly than to have it robbed from me by those jerks.
Yes, that hairpin, no matter where she hid it, was stolen from her by the Revolutionary Army. What's more, it was taken rudely by a crude and violent bearded hooligan. Not that it would be okay if it was taken by a handsome fellow with a chemtear.
If it's going to end up in the hands of someone like him, I'd rather keep it up myself. At least, I'll be using it for my own sake.
Mia was endlessly calculating, and Ludwig doesn't have a single clue about it. Your Highness's benevolence shall not go to waste. I will make the best use of this treasure that I have received. Even if he sells the hairpin, it's not enough for the amount they need. However, Ludwig knew the intention of Mia, or at least he thinks he knew anyway. The next day, Ludwig made a big statement that Mia offered an important treasure for the people of the slums. It was an utmost act of charity by the princess. The people were shocked and surprised at Mia's act of benevolence, and the act forced the other nobles in a position where they had no choice but to donate to the cause as well. Thus, 20 days later, it was decided that a large hospital would be built in the New Moon District. Today, Mia came to a tea party at the invitation of Esmeralda Toil Greenmoon, the daughter of a Grand Duke of the Tearmoon Empire. For noble children, a tea party is a symbol of status. The more prestigious the guests they can invite to attend, the more influence they hold. In that sense, Princess Mia was always in high demand. The tea party was held in a corner of a vast garden where many daughters of noble houses were gathered.
Mia-sama, what you did was very bold,
asked Esmeralda, the organizer of the tea party, while waving her green hair.
Oh, what do you mean?
Mia took a sip of her tea while giving Esmeralda a curious look.
I'm talking about what you did in the slums the other day.
The Duke's daughter laughed and continued.
But why did you do such a wasteful thing? You gave away your treasure hairpin for the common people. Even my father cannot get his head around the news. Oh, that's what you mean. I thought it was just a win, but I also thought that it might have had a deeper meaning because it was Mia-sama, but I just couldn't think of a reason.
Esmeralda leans forward. To be honest, Mia didn't like her. After all, she was the one who betrayed her the most as soon as the revolution happened, even though she kept on claiming that Mia was her best friend. Mia didn't want to come to the tea party, but she can't easily refuse. After all, Esmeralda was the daughter of a noble house with the Emperor's blood. So today's goal was for Mia to spend as little effort as possible. And so...
There is no deeper meaning to it. I just acted as my heart wanted.
Which was a diplomatic way of saying, I did it because I wanted to. You've got a problem with that, punk? If it was Ludwig, then she needs to be more careful about her answer. But for these noble daughters, this level of answer is more than enough.
That's so wonderful, Mia-sama. You have such a big heart to care even for common people. Such benevolence. We can't hope to imitate.
While listening to the praises of the noble daughters around her, Mia...
I wonder if this will end soon.
Mia was sighing inside.
You have worked hard, Mia-sama.
Anne said to her as soon as she got into the carriage heading home.
Indeed, my shoulders feel stiff.
Anne looked at her with sympathetic eyes. She then proceeded to twist her neck and crack her joints.
I figured Mia-sama wouldn't feel at home with that kind of atmosphere.
It wasn't that Mia wasn't at home with that kind of atmosphere. Rather, she grew up in that kind of atmosphere. So she was curious about Anne's words.
What made you think so?
Mia asked while checking the various souvenirs she has been given.
Because Mia-sama and those people are different. Oh, it's an ice cream. This is delicious.
While thinking about something frivolous, Anne's narration continues.
They never have gone to where the poor people live, nor have they given any of their belongings for charity. They're totally not like you, Mia-sama. Oh, is that so?
Mia was unable to look at Anne's glittering eyes. After all, she has never acted in good faith. In fact, not a single thing she had ever done was out of pure goodwill. There was something terribly uncomfortable about being praised for something that she didn't do. Anne's pure trust in her shook Mia's conscience. As a result, she wanted to do something nice to erase the guilt.
Well, since I'm a generous princess, I decided to bestow this gift to you.
Mia gave Anne her ice cream souvenir.
Really? Will that be okay? It looks luxurious. It's fine. They're not that rare. Wow, thank you so much.
Anne cheered happily and then suddenly fell silent.
What's the matter? Oh, it's just that I want my siblings to taste this too. Good point. Then, why don't we visit your home right now? It's an ice cream, so if you don't eat it right away, it will melt. If you want your siblings to taste it, we better hurry up. Wait a minute, Mia-sama, that kind of thing. Will they allow you to go into Commoner's house? Oh, I thought you already knew. I'm the selfish princess, right?
With that, Mia turned to the driver while Anne was at a complete loss for words.
This is it for this video. We will continue with the story of the Guillotine Princess in the next episode. This was Marco and Brian from Jobless Whips. Matanem!